Morning all, it is Tuesday and got a busy little day ahead of us. We've got a 14 tonner with an engine oil leak. We've got a 8 tonner which needs a set of fan belts and aircon belts, and then at the end of the day there's a 8.5 tonner that needs a service as well. So right, I'm at this 14 tonner just now, and so it's that one. Fitted this turbo return pipe to a while ago now, a couple of months ago. You look back at the video, we had this turbo off and we fitted a new pipe because it was rubbed through, so the engine oil as it was coming back from the turbo was leaking out of this pipe here. And then maybe 4 or 5 weeks after fitting that pipe, we had a bit of an engine oil leak, and that pipe down there had it wasn't seated right. Now, whether I didn't put it in properly the first time, but I thought I got it seated the second time. So when this customer phoned and said it's still losing a bit of engine oil, because it's a bit of oil underneath the machine when he's working. But to me, let's have a look. That still looks pretty dry to me for the amount of muck that's about. I don't think it is that. Now, when he phoned and said that it was still leaking a bit of engine oil, or what he thought was engine oil, I went ahead and ordered a brand new pipe again, because just to come back with something and try again and fit it. But I think that's all right. That looks dry down there where it goes into there. Now, the second time I visited it, that was definitely wet down there, and when he was working the machine and I was sat here, you could just see it weeping out, but it's dry. And I'll show you underneath now. So if you look underneath, there's still a bit of oil on these bolt heads here, and to be fair, it is black or dark anyway, but it could be hydraulic oil, and it does seem to be more towards the pump side. There is still a bit on the belly plate under here, but I mean, it's not too far to run across to here and out. So I've had a right good look around the engine bay. This is the engine breather, so if the engine was breathing heavy, I popped it out of its little tube last time I visited it, just in case it was breathing heavy. Then I would see if it was breathing engine oil out of here, it would run it onto this nice clean bit here, but it's dry. So I don't think I've got a issue with the engine breathing heavy, so I'll be putting that back in a few moments. But I'll look under the pump. There's a bit of oil around this belly plate, and it's bad to see. It is bad to see, but I just don't know whether the Jubilee clips on the feed pipe to the pump I want nipped up, because there's a bit of oil down there. It doesn't look like a massive oil leak though. It must just be steadily weeping, because it is making the track frame a bit damp, as you can see. So I'm gonna take all these belly plates off and have a right good look, see what we can spot. It's a bit of a relief in a way, because like I say, I thought it was going to be a comeback job, but it might be a different oil leak. Like I say, I've got the new pipe here, and that end there just shoves into the block. It'd be nice if there was a bit of a flange on there and you could run like an M6 bolt in there just to nip it down. Why they couldn't have done that, I don't know, but yeah, at least it's not looking like something that I've overlooked, hopefully. So yeah, I'll get these belly plates off. So after a bit of inspection, see that bit of flexi pipe wrap that's going on the engine oil pipe to the oil filter, and that's wet, and I don't think the camera quite pick up. No, it just wants to focus on that pipe, but that has got like a greeny tinge to the droplets. And if I go upstairs, you can see I've taken a lot of bodywork off it. Now then, where am I? Yeah, so that bit of flexi pipe, or the hose wrap, is that bit there. It's not like severely damp around here because of course you've got the EGR cooler, exhaust manifold, exhaust which is keeping everything nice and hot and dry. But as the coolant runs down there, it's not as warm, so it's not evaporating as quickly, and it's making it look a lot damper than it is. The camera doesn't really do it justice, look. See how damp it is there? I think that's running at the pump there. And it's probably washing a bit of oil that was about. Probably washing it out and making it look like a bit more of an oil leak. I have cleaned up around the suction pipe, or the feed pipe to the pump. So I'm gonna investigate this water leak first, and then I'll run the machine nice and hot for half an hour and see what it's like then. Right, I've got it all cable ties off, and if you look at that there, you can well imagine it's gonna leak out there when it's nice and hot. So I want to try and take that Jubilee clip off and, well, reposition it somewhere where I can get it a bit tighter. And then this bit of ratchet strap here, that is soaking wet. Soaking wet. I think that's what the trouble is. It's a coolant leak rather than an oil leak. I think because the base plate is just sort of covered in mucky, greasiness, it's sort of cleaning itself out a bit. So I've put a new Jubilee clip on it and reseated it, and that's nice and tight now. I've just sprayed it with brake cleaner to kind of get it all nice and dry. Just going to run it now and see what happens. Peace and quiet at last. I've been running that now for 20 minutes or so. I've been cleaning all the belly plates up for when I put them back on while it's been running. There's nothing fresh coming out of here. It's all still dry, so I think that coolant leak is what's been the problem. I did notice, and you might have heard it when I was running it, there was a bit of an air leak. That's just on this turbo pipe here. It's just leaking out of here, so obviously I've not sat that back on properly, but that's nothing major. I'm just going to reseat that just now, but yeah, everything looks dry on there now, so quite happy. Right, put all this bodywork back together. It'll take about half an hour getting all this back on, and everything's nice and hot now. Marvellous. That's us all back together now. Yeah, so you can see for future if there is another oil leak, I've cleaned all the belly plates off, so we know where to start looking if there's any more oil leaks or coolant leaks springing up. So right, I've just got to go down the yard now and put a fan belt on a 8-tonner. Nearly forgot to grab my phone there. I'm halfway through putting some fan belts on, so I've taken the fan guard off, which is there, and this plate that covers here, taking that off, and you just slacken this belt here for this tensioner pulley, and that's for the air conditioning. So I've got this belt out, and you can see it's about ready for braking. I've got a new one of those, and I would well imagine this one's the same. So slacken this fan belt off. All I do is slacken that off, and the bottom mounting bolt and that alternator will come towards me and feed the old belt off. So I'll get the next one off and see what condition it's in. There we go, the fan belt as well is much in the same condition. You can see it's just started to eat the wall of the belt as well, and there's cracks between all the teeth, so probably wouldn't have been too long before it gave up altogether. So while the fan belt's off, it's a good chance just to check all the bearings, make sure everything's nice and free. No playing the fan, alternator again, no playing that, and then it just goes down at the crankshaft down there. So it's not like you need to write yourself a little diagram of how it all goes together. Nice and easy. That little idler wheel, there's no play in that either. There's play there, but obviously it's all slack at the moment. So I'll grab my new belts. Hopefully they're the same. Yeah, they look about right. Have a way up. It's always the simple jobs, isn't it? That aircon belt is correct. That's the right one. That matches this one. Same part number on it. However, the main fan belt, which is probably the worst one, that is completely different width, and it's shorter. It's got a Mitsubishi. I have a feeling that's going to be too long. I'll try it just now. Oh, we had a glimmer of hope. He had a fan belt in his shed that was very, very close, but that's it adjusted to its maximum there, and it's still far too loose. So, talking with him there, he's not desperate for the machine, it's just a shame to come all the way back to fit that. When I continue out west just now, I'll have a quick look around, see if there's anywhere local that might have something like that. Failing that, Dan, the man in the party, is going to double check the part number of this, because he said there was only one choice of fan belt for a DX80, and that should be the one. I mean, the part number on the packet matches the part number on the belt, so it hasn't been incorrectly packaged. But yeah, that is definitely going to be too long. The one that we put on was just ever so slightly bigger, but it was still too long. So right, I'm gonna go and get that 8-tonner service now. Right, I've got my 8.5-ton digger to service. Look, so this is the machine's done 3,500 hours. It's just a 500-hour service. I'll have engine oil filter, 2 fuel filters, air filters, and hydraulic return filter. And of course, I'll be doing the final drives as well. So, a nice view of the Lake District, look. Over there. It's a nice day, look. Would you want to be anywhere else doing this? Maybe think of a couple of spots, but yeah. This belt here looks like either the wrong one's been ordered or they've sent the wrong one. The correct belt is actually, on closer inspection, on back order. So I'm gonna take a picture of these numbers that are I can just about make them out, and send them through to Dan, and see if he can pick them up locally. He'll try some bits in Carlisle, and if they've got a depot over here where I am just now, then I might be able to go and collect one and pop it on the way back. So But it's warm. It is warm. I'm not complaining though. This is not me complaining. Right. I've just been chatting away to the owner there, so I haven't picked up my phone, but engine oil filter's done, both fuel filters done, and air filters are changed. Got the return filter to do, and put some oil back in. It's all going here. That's in my way back to work. I gave that machine a bit of a tweak as well. It was like a rocking horse when I set the machine up. So it's one of those things. It probably just gradually kind of deteriorates, so the operator maybe doesn't notice, and he kind of quietly adjusts how he works the machine to compensate for it. But right, I should have a pipe through from a belt through from Carlisle. But Dan the man's left at that machine we were on with putting that fan belt on, so on the way back through I'll go and put that on. No idea what time it is actually, I'll need to have some lunch. Right, I'm back at my 8 tonner, and Dan has been and dropped a new belt off while I've been travelling back from that 8.5. So that's the new one. It is the old one. That looks a lot better. Hopefully, it maybe is slightly bigger. Might not be out the woods yet. I'll try it on and see what it's like. Update, that one's no good either. Seems to be very similar length to the one this fella got. So, oh man, just too long. Thought when I weighed that up it just looked a bit long. Oh, that's a pain. I don't know what to do, because I could do with taking this one back to Carlisle and taking it in somewhere so that someone can physically measure it, because oh dear, the simplest jobs, hey? The simplest jobs. I'll maybe nip up to that 14 tonner just working away up there. Just have a quick look at that while I'm here. Make sure it's still nice and dry. I've been busy since I've been away, but there's no sign of any drips under there. Right, so the decision has been taken. I'll keep hold of that old belt and go and try and find a new one at Carlisle and pop back when I've got one. So whether that'll be today or tomorrow morning, we shall have to see. Like I say, the simplest jobs just turn into a bit of a pain in the backside. Anyway, it's not too bad. I'm only half an hour away from Carlisle. It's not like it's a 2-hour drive. So, yeah, let's get on with that. Right, I've got my belt. That is the correct one for going onto there. So, I'll crack on and get it fitted. At last. There we go, 5 minutes later, both belts are on. Just ran it there, nothing's squealing. I'll maybe just give them a little nip up again now. Put all the covers back on. What a performance. Thursday? Wednesday, it's Wednesday today, Wednesday. And yeah, I had it in my head that I was going to go and see a 160 high track down in the Lake District, but I've had a message through from the service department at Castle Douglas. There's a 225-7 to go and see with an error code to do with a pressure sensor, which I have in my pocket. and then there's a Mechalak dumper to go and look at that's making a loud noise. Whether it's like an electrical loud noise like a beeping noise, or a loud noise like the engine's gonna fall out of the bottom of the machine. That could be anybody's guess. So I'll go and get those 2 jobs done first, and then we'll see, because I reckon I'll have at least 3/4 of a day's worth of work to do on this 160 in the Lake District. So I don't want to push myself. Worst case is we'll nip down on Friday if nothing else comes in. It's nothing particularly urgent, so yeah, we'll go from there. Right, on to the landfill site for me. Right, first job of the day. I'm on this 225-7. It's got joystick sensor failure, so we'll have a bit nosy over it and see what we can find. I'm into the service menu, and the fault code is for the boom down pressure sensor. So when I lift the boom up, you can see it's reading the pilot pressure, lifting the arm up. But when I put the arm down, you can see it's not reading the pressure. So that's what the fault is. We'll go and look at the pressure sensors. These are all the pressure sensors here, 1, 2, 3, and then you've got the same over on the other side. So one of those sensors is away for the boom down. These pipes are all labelled up L1, L4. So boom down is your right hand lever, so it'll be an R1, or it'll be one of the R1s anyway. I'm just going to double check on my laptop now. So that's the new pressure sensor fitted, and it's on this valve block here. Now this piece here isn't Doosan part, it's an aftermarket part. I think it's something to do with an aftermarket rotate circuit that's been fitted. Now when I first arrived here, the driver was sort of talking about controllability and gradability. He wasn't able to pull a level grade with it. And I suspected if that pressure sensor was away, it could have affected the performance of the machine. Replaced the sensor and left this sort of all piped up, and the performance wasn't any better. So I've capped that off, so that is essentially standard. Like I say, that pressure sensor there would normally go into there where they've teed into it. So capping it off there is perfectly fine. And the machine is apparently, well, it's a difference between night and day, so I'm going to leave that capped off, and the company that came and fit this kit will come back and just double check the work. So that is that 225. This is a machine that's came up from Pioneer Plant. Quite often you work with other Doosan dealers. If one of their machines come into your area for something like this, we'll work with them to try and keep it right. So yeah, I'm sure they do the same for us if any of our customers went down in their area. So something I love about coming to these big building sites. So I've come to have a look at a 9-ton dumper for that. It turns out it's a beeping noise. I've got the serial number of the machine and the fleet number of the machine. Found the fleet number of the machine with the driver on it. Alright mate, come to have a look at this machine for a beeping noise. Oh, I know note about it. Well, is the machine making a beeping noise? No. So I've been and seen the site manager. Ah yeah, D38, that's the one. Came up with a beeping noise. Alright. Cool. Go and catch back up with that dumper again now. Oh man. And it's raining now. Marvellous. Well, I've logged on to D38, the dumper, with my diagnostic doodah. There's no faults logged, so one of life's mysteries. We'll leave it at that before we waste any more time. Lunchtime now. I think it's a bit late to be heading 2 hours into the middle of the Lake District among all the traffic. We'll see. I'll maybe try and I'll see if I can get hold of this DX10 that I need to put this fuel gauge into, because that's still to do. I'll maybe try and get hold of that machine. I'll give them the phone now. So I'm back at the yard now. It's 1:15. I've just had my lunch. The micro digger I thought about maybe trying to get hold of for that fuel gauge, it's locked up in a shed and the fella's away at the Isle of Man TT, and it's just too much of a stretch for us to run all the way down into the Lake District at this time of day, to try and get back at a decent time. I promised my other half I'll be back at a decent time tonight, so I cannot avoid that really. So anyway, I've put that off. That's going to be on Friday hopefully. The rest of the day I'm going to have a bit square up in the back of the van. My filter bin is stacked full after yesterday and the services previous, so I'll empty that out, and then I'll grab my laptop, go and sit in the office and do a bit of online training. So unless anything happens, we'll leave it at that for today. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and for more bits and pieces throughout the week, head over to Ali's Digger Diary on Instagram. Lots going on there at the minute, plenty of followers joining us, so I'll see you tomorrow. I've got a loading shovel to go and service tomorrow, and it's got an issue with the boom suspension on it as well, so we'll investigate that. Okay, have a good evening and see you in the morning.